Hello and welcome to this channel. This is the Techish, and in this video I'm going to be solving the 2019 Elective ICT Practical WASSCE question. To be specific, the question number 3, which is a QBASIC question. But before we actually get into anything of this video, I'd appreciate if you can support my channel by giving this video a thumbs up and also hitting the subscribe button and the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So without any further delays, let's get started with this tutorial. Alright, so now we are back once again, and now you can see the question in front of you. So the question number 3, and it says write a program in QBASIC to determine whether a number is prime or not. Display the output on screen showing the number and the remark either number is prime or number is not prime. Then we should also save the program as prime all in caps in the folder created. Okay, so now that I've read the question, the first thing I'm going to do is create the folder. So let's head on to my desktop, which is what we have here. Then to create a folder, of course, you just right click on any blank space. Then you see this pop-up menu and you select new and then folder. And this is how you create a folder. For the name of the folder, according to the WASSCE standard, it's supposed to be your initials and index number. So let's assume my name is Dennis Danso, for example. It means my initials will be DD and then my index number. So I don't have an index number, so I'm just going to use something random. But I believe you guys have, so something like this. And hit on enter, and this is how you create your folder and give it the appropriate name. So when we are done with this QBASIC program, I'm going to show you how to save the file in this folder, so just relax. Alright, so now that we've been able to create a folder and we have also read a question, the next thing is to open up our QBASIC IDE where we'll be typing in our code. So here is mine, and this is where I'm going to be typing in the code. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type in the solution to this problem, and after that I'm going to explain everything bit by bit, step by step, so that you guys get the understanding. So for now, just relax and watch as I type. Alright, so now there's the solution to the program, and now it's time for me to explain what it actually does. So let's start. So the line 1 is a comment. Now a comment is basically ignored by the language. It's more or less like a text for the one writing the code. So what a comment does, or its usefulness, is its ability to help you understand your code. So for example, you type some random code, you leave it for a long time, you come back and you are trying to figure out how it really works. Now if you wrote comment explaining how it works, you can just read the comments and now you remember how your program works. So that is the usefulness of comments. Yeah, so now let's move on to the second line, which is CLS. Now CLS stands for clear screen. It is a command in the language that clears the output screen. So whenever you run the program, the output screen is what displays, and that output screen is what is being cleared by the CLS. So yeah, now on line 3 we have an input command. So what does this do? It basically prompts the user to enter a number, and whatever number the user enters is going to be stored in this number variable. So if the user enters something like 3, it means that the number variable is equal to 3. It's the same thing in math. Whenever you say x is equal to 2, so wherever you see x, you can replace it with 2. It's the same concept over here. Now on line 5 we create a new variable called factors, and then we give it a value of 0. Now note that as the program runs, this value keeps increasing, so it keeps changing, so just keep that in mind. Now let's move on to line 7, right? So on line 7 we have what we call a for loop. Now what does for loop do? It iterates a number of times. So how many times will it iterate? It depends on the number entered by the user. So the basic idea is that it's going to iterate from 1 to whatever the user enters. So if I enter 3, it means that this loop is going to iterate 3 times. So it's going to start from 1, then it's going to go to 2, then 3, and then it stops. That is how this for loop is going to work. And for each iteration, it's going to take the number here. So you see this number keeps changing. It starts from 1, it goes to 2 until it gets to this number here. So if we enter 3, it means it starts to start from 1 all the way to 3. So for each iteration, we are going to be checking if whatever number the user entered is a factor of this number. Actually, Let me repeat that again. For each iteration, we are going to check whether this number, which keeps changing, is a factor of whatever number the user entered using this mod operator. So let me give you an analogy. So let's say the user entered 3. Okay, so here's what happens. Now the for loop starts from 1. So it's going to say if 3 mod 1 is equal to 0. So is that true? Yes, it is true, because 3 mod 1 is equal to 0. So if that's the case, what happens? So then let this happen, which is factors is equal to factors plus 1. Now this in programming is what we call increments. So what we are doing is we are incrementing the factor variable by 1. If you don't understand what increment means, simply I mean we are increasing the factor variable by 1. So basically we are saying factors is equal to 0 plus 1. So now you can see that this factors variable, which was currently 0, has now been increased by 1. So 0 plus 1 is now 1. So keep in mind that this factor variable is 1. Now it comes to line 10 and it says if factors is equal to 3, then exit 4. So what does this do? It checks to see the number of factors we have so far. So when we look at the definition of a prime number is a number which has exactly 2 factors, the number itself and 1. So if we have 3 factors, then automatically that number is not a prime number, right? So why should we keep the for loop iterating? Because let's say you enter a number like 100, it means that it's going to iterate from 1 to 100, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 100. So if we've gotten to if this number has gotten to, let's say, 5, and we've already gotten more than 3 factors, why should we waste our time running all the way to 100 whilst we know that the number is not a prime number? So if we get 3 factors, then basically let's just stop running this for loop. So the exit for loop is going to exit all this for loop, and then the code is going to continue running from here. So that is what it does. So now let's continue with the explanation I was giving. So you can see that it starts with 1, and of course 1 is a factor of 3. So this factor variable gets incremented by 1. Then it goes to 2, and it says, so if 3 mod 2 is equal to 0, is that true? No. So since that is not true, it means that this code gets ignored. So nothing is increased in this factor variable, and still our factor variable is 1. It's not 3, so we are not exiting the for loop. Then it comes again. Now we've gotten to 3, the final number. So if 3 mod 3 is equal to 0, is that true? Yes, that is true. So what happens? It means that this factor variable is increased by 1. And of course, now the factor variable is 2. So there's no need to exit the for loop. But since we've gotten to 3, which is the number entered by the user, automatically we have to exit the for loop. Okay, so now that is how it's going to work with the example I've given. Now let's move on to line 14. So line 14 is where we check if the number is prime or not. So if factor is equal to 2, then what should we do? Print that the number is a prime number. Else do something else. Print that the number is not a prime number. So with the example I gave with assuming that the user entered 3, you could see that we ended up with 2 factors. So if the factor is 2, then this would be what the program prints. But if the number of factors was more than 2 or less than 2, then this is what gets printed. So that is how this program works. Now let's give it a test and see. So F5 to run it. Enter a number. So let's start with 1. So 1 is not a prime number. Okay, we get that. Now let's go on with 2. Now everyone knows that 2 is a prime number. So yeah, 2 is a prime number. Now let's try 3. 3 is also a prime number, as you can see. Let's try 4. So 4 is not a prime number, right? Alright, now let's try something like 11. 11 is a prime number, so let's see. Yeah, so basically you can see that the program is working. And that is pretty much the solution to this problem. Now I almost forgot. When we look at the question, it says save the program as prime in the folder created. So if you remember, I created a folder on my desktop. So now let's save it. So to save it, you go over here to file, and then you click on save as. Now we need to look for the folder we created on our desktop. So the best thing to do, so this is the current directory I'm in. So what you should do is you should see C with a colon. So double click on that, and after that look for what we call users, and then look for your particular username of your PC. So in this case, my PC is the Turkish. That is the name of my PC. Yours will be different, and I believe you will know yours. So I'm going to click on the Turkish, and then look for what we call desktop, since that is where I created the folder. So desktop over here, double click on that. Okay, I made a mistake, so let me go back. So to go back, if you make a mistake, just double click on this double period sign to it will take you back to the previous directory. So double click on desktop, and now you can see we have DD with the index number. So this was the folder I created. Double click on it as well, and now we are going to save this file inside the folder. So to save it, the question said we should save it as prime, all in caps, so prime. So you can just type prime like this and then hit on OK, and that is it. You have saved it. So to prove that, let's check our folder. So let's check it, and you can see we have prime.bas. So .bas is the file extension for a QBASIC file. And so that is it for the solution to the 2019 elective ICT practical question number 3. So if you found this video useful, then please, I beg you, don't forget to support this channel by giving this video a thumbs up and also hitting the subscribe button and the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Also follow me on Instagram and join my Discord server. The links are going to be in the description below. So see you guys in my next video, and bye for now.